So now we come finally to the interlocking tiles. As you must be knowing, and definitely you must have seen, all of you must have seen that by the Nagar Nikam in your localities, in your bylanes and lanes next to your residences, these tiles are being provided, and they are known as interlocking pavement tiles. When you take the word pavement into consideration, it means the top surface of the road or the footpath, or it could be an embankment. Embankment meaning somewhere where there is a river and the top part is also provided with it. So it's basically used for road. Now the advantage over there is that it avoids cracks. It doesn't provide cracks on the road like you normally see in the rainy season, that after there is heavy rains we find that there is cracks in the roads, especially the bitumen roads. And then the other factor that comes into consideration is the thermal expansion. It doesn't have thermal expansion. As you know that there is a variation of temperature in most of the part of the country, especially the Deccan Plateau in which locality we live in. So there is a variation of a lot of temperature. So it doesn't have thermal expansion, and it can even withstand it if there is any. And then the final thing is this: it doesn't require curing. Like whenever we have anything made out of concrete, or we use cement in particular, we have to use water to. So then we come with the perspective of the manufacturer. It is a very cheaper option, and it can is sustainable, and it has very few tiles per square meter. This is, of course, you can think in the way, like if you have a 1 square foot, for example, tile, and in a meter, as you know, it will require about 10 square foot roughly. So meaning that you will need about 10 tiles per square meter. Another important factor is that in the interlocking tiles, it does not require any material to fix between these two tiles. So it engrips each other itself. So that's why it's known as interlocking. And in order to spread the tiles out on the floor or on the road or on the footpath, we require a flat surface. The surface should be absolutely flat. So these are some of the few things. Number one, they are also known as pavement tile. It avoids cracks. Then thermal expansion. Then we have, it has a sustainable limit. Then per square meter usages less. Then you don't require any binding material, and you have to provide a surface that is flat in order to place these tiles. So now we'll come next to the cement, concrete and the hollow blocks. And before we begin, we'll go through some of the videos of fly ash and concrete hollow blocks. Here you can see the bowls being filled with concrete, stone grit, and cement is being added to the mixture, and the mixture is running on full swing. Here are 3 bowls over here. Water is being added to get the proper normality of concrete. This is done according to the required design. So according to that only we take up the ratio and to acquire the required strength. Here we have cement, the grey cement known as ordinary Portland cement, which is being taken out of the bag, and now the concrete mixing is absolutely ready. You can see that there are blades inside the mixer. This helps it to mix around. So here we are going to tumble it out. So here we have the concrete that is ready and is being placed in a trolley. So this will be carried out to the location where we are going to use it in the manual machine for making tiles. So you can see the laborer carrying it. The empty trolley is coming back. It's being filled up again, and the design is going. Here you have the manual brick maker, which is making the brick. So this is the concrete, and it's being poured inside over here, and you will find when it's being operated by the operator, then it is being compacted over here. It's being manually done. So this is a manual sort of a machine and giving it the proper shape or the shape of the brick or the size of the shape. You can even change the size of the thing, but for that you will have to change the size of the mold of this machine as well. So, and you have different types of mold as well. Here it is running and it's operational. So the motor is working along with it and is being compacted manually. Here we have the bricks out, and you can see on the other side over here that they are being dried bricks over here, and on the left hand side you have the wet bricks which will be drying, and you will have to give it sufficient time of drying, and it has to be cured as well. Again you find the machine running. You see the compaction being done with the hand. We also have machines that are totally electrically operated. This compaction is also done with the help of the machine. We'll go ahead in the video and we'll find that the compaction is being done right onto the machine itself. Here you have the hopper continuing with the material, carrying the material, being leaded towards the hopper. Operator is operating it, and here it is being compacted. Here you have the hollow mix coming out, taken up in the trolley, being taken out to such a position where you get sufficient sunlight, providing it with proper curing and water. And this is the full machine that is totally electrically operated. The brushing is done. Here the compaction is being done. This is totally electrically operated machine. You have a very nice mold coming out. The brick is very clear, crystal clear. You even have the logo of the company which is manufacturing this brick, and it's being carried away towards the site where it will be taken for drying purpose. So this is how we make these things. So one by one you're finding these bricks coming up, and this is the wall that is being made. It's a partition wall. You have just watched the video that was regarding the manufacturing of the bricks, and it was being made by a machine that was electrically operated. And in the previous video we had seen the manual making of bricks as well. Now what we have over here is the cement, concrete and the hollow blocks right over here. Now there are different types of bricks. If we go according to the manufacturing procedure, then we have quite a lot of differences over there. Like, first of course we have the clay bricks, then we have the concrete solid blocks. These solid blocks are heavy. Then we have the hollow part over here. The bricks are hollow within. Then we have the ACC. ACC means autoclaved aerated concrete. Then silicate bricks, and of course these are light in weight as well. And finally, now we'll proceed ahead, and we have a chamber of a brick which is created in a hollow type, and you can pour concrete over there. If required, you can provide steel. Steel is provided to give it a more strength. Now, how is steel provided? What we do over there is we just create a rounding surface here like this, right? So this is the, supposing the cube top, and from here this area we fill in the concrete, and over here only we can easily place the steel, that is in between them. So this is how we can provide steel in it. Now, so this is the 3D view over here which has been made with respect to this image over here. These are all the hollow parts beside them. I'll just draw it for you. So if you see over here, this is the hollow part. So you can fill in concrete in this area and it will go inside the mold. So when you fill up the mold will take the concrete inside over here, and the size will be of course the same as the mold, and you will have a hollow brick coming out made of concrete. You can give it the desired shape that you desire, so there is no issue regarding to that. So this pink part that you see over here is where the mold is hollow. So from here you pour in concrete. Next, what we are going to do, we are going to talk about these differences over here, right on top. So these differences will take up one by one, and it will be just in the form of a comparison, right? A comparison between all these types of bricks that we have till now discussed. It's a very vast field. We have many other procedures, and it's a very vast field still. There are still many things that have been left out, but I think that this is enough for you people. So we'll just go to the tabulation form for comparison of these blocks and bricks that we have studied till now, and finally we will end the session of bricks. And whatever suggestion I get from you, I'll get down to the next topic. So let's get down to the comparison of the bricks and the hollow blocks with cement and clay bricks along. So here you have the difference between the bricks, that is the concrete solid blocks bricks, and then you have the hollow blocks and the ACC bricks, that is the silicate bricks, and of course the lightweight bricks. So these are some of the bricks that we are going to discuss in a technical way. We'll go through the parameters over here. For the clay brick, for the hollow clay brick, then you have the ACC lightweight bricks over here. This ACC means auto claved aerated blocks. Now, what is the parameter for clay bricks? It is red in color. The color is red. It is a chambered brick. Chambered bricks means it has to be molded in a chamber. It can be table molded. It can be wire cut. Now we have another different term that is important, and that is porotherm. Now therm means nothing else but with thermal energy. So this is the term that is referring to the thermal characteristics of the material that we are going to use. So these are clay hollow bricks, and of course clay, as you know, in comparison to concrete. And because of it being clay, the thermal expansion, the thermal heat will not be transmitted outside the chimneys especially, or anywhere where we have a lot of heat. Like you have the brick kilns over there, even there this is applicable. And then we have the ACC blocks over here, that is the aerated concrete blocks, autoclaved aerated concrete blocks. Now we'll be going through some of the technical parameters of the bricks, that is the various types of bricks, the composition, the weight, the advantages, the strength, then we go down to the color, then the load carrying capacity, and the number of bricks that we require in a meter square. So we'll begin with it shortly. You can take a screenshot of these parameters and you can keep them with you. Whenever required, you can use them. So first we'll go with the clay bricks. Here I have added the concrete solid block as well. So first we'll begin with the clay bricks. So this clay brick, it has soil, sand, lime, and other concrete materials. That concrete material is very less in quantity. The weight is about 3.5 to 3 kgs for a 3-inch brick. That is the breadth of the brick. Until it is 4.5 to 5 kg, and it requires zero maintenance as it is fire resistant. The strength is about 2.5 to 3 Newton per mm square. And then we have the color of it. The color is red. The load carrying capacity, yes, it can carry load. Then the number of bricks required is 43, right? And now we come to the second of it. It is the concrete hollow blocks. Now it is made out of medium sand, coarse sand, and coarse aggregate along with cement. The weight is about 7.5 to 8.5 kg for 4 inch. For 6 inches it is 25 to 25 kg. Then for 8 inch it is about 34 to 35 kg. Now what is the advantage? It is more durable. The life increases. Instability. It can increase instability. Stability is something that stays in its position. Like you have a wall, it stays where the wall is. So it is more stable in comparison to the bricks that is made out of clay. Then we have the strength. The strength is about 5 Newton per mm square. Then we have the color. The color is red gray. Then carrying capacity, yes, it has a load carrying capacity. And the number of bricks that can be accommodated in a square meter is about 12 numbers in size, because the size is big. So you can take it out easily. Take the surface area of the brick divided by a square meter and you get the size of the brick. Now we come to the hollow bricks that is made out of clay. So this is made out of cement, sand and coarse aggregate. Coarse aggregate is of course your morang that we use. It is known as Badarpur in certain areas. And the weight about the 4-inch brick is 6 to 7 kg, and for 6 inches it is 8.5 to 9.5 kg. Then we have about 8 inches one. It is about 11 to 11.5 kg. Then the work, it can be executed or rather made easily because it is a hollow clay bricks. It is done by machine work. It is good and it provides proper insulation, like we had talked about the word over there regarding the prothermal over there pertaining to heat, and the grade is about 4.5 Newton per mm square, or you can call it the strength. Then we have the color. The color is red because it is clay, it ought to be red, right? The load capacity, no, it doesn't carry load. It is just an ornamental work like you place in the chimney, as I've discussed in the previous video. The internal chamber has something else and the external chamber has something else. What is that something? That to avoid the heat, it is clay, hollow bricks that is used. Because it is hollow, it doesn't allow the heat to escape from it. And then the number of bricks that can be used over here is about 12 per square meter. Then we have the next one, that is the ACC lightweight bricks. Over here also we use sand, cement, coarse sand. Now here we are not using clay. It is totally cement concrete. So we don't use clay at all. And for the 4-inch brick, it is about 9.5 centimeter. For 6 inches brick, it is about 12.5 to 13 kg. And for about 8-inch, it is about 14.5 to 14.5 kg. It has high thermal insulation. Now this is having both the things. It's also having good strength in comparison to others, and it also has a good environmental friendly insulation. Even if there is heat outside, like for example in a house, and if you build it up with this, then the heat will not come inside, or rather the temperature inside the room will definitely be less towards the outside temperature in comparison to the concrete ones, right, which are not hollow. And then we come to the color. It is gray. Does it have a capacity to bear load? No. Reduces it because it is hollow, right? And the number of bricks that come over here is 8 per meter square. So that is all we have for these bricks. And we'll come up with the next video shortly, and we'll go through it. So for the time being, this much is okay in bricks. If there is any queries, any questions, any points you want to be clarified, you are most welcome to write to me and I will reply you to your questions. So I wish you again the very best of luck in life and happy viewing. My best wishes to you once again.